right, Algebra 1, Lesson 13. And this lesson is on multiple symbols of inclusion. And then we're also going to do order of operations a little bit more, and then product of sign numbers. So quite a bit of 3 different lessons in one, okay? So you're going to start encountering problems like this. So go on and write this down on your paper. All right, now once you get that written down, I'm going to talk about it for just a minute. Okay. Go on and write PEMDAS at the top. Okay, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We've learned that a long time ago. Okay, but the P stands for parentheses. E is for exponents. M,
multiply,
D,
divide,
add, subtract. Now, I'm going to put an underline with an arrow showing that these can be switched. It could be DM and SA or MDAS. It doesn't matter because you go in the order from left to right. And we'll talk about that a little bit deeper in just a minute. Okay, now, this parentheses can also include these things like these. These are called brackets, okay? These are symbols of inclusion is what that's called, okay? It's just symbols that include stuff, symbols of inclusion, okay? And so, whenever you have symbols of inclusion, you always answer the symbols inside first, okay? So we're going to start with the innermost inclusion and move out, okay? So, as you can see, we have -2 minus 4 in our inclusion, okay? So as I've taught you in the last few years, we're going to make this minus a plus negative. It just helps you think clear, okay? So -2 plus a -4 makes -6. So I'm just going to answer that one. I'm going to keep it in parentheses for now, okay? For just a minute. I'm just moving everything down. Bringing this down, bringing that down, and then bringing this down, okay? It's always best not to try to move quickly when you're doing these inclusions because you can mess up really quick. All right, do you see any other inclusions within this inclusion?
We can go in times -6 times -3.
Okay, let me look at that real quick if this is a -3. Yes, it is. Okay, so when you see a minus right there, it would have to, if it was multiplying it, you would have this. They would put that, okay, for a negative number. They would have to because that does look like that, okay? So this is -3, okay, or a plus -3, however you want to see it. So -3 plus a -6 plus a -3 makes a -9. Very good. I'm going to go in and bring it down just like that, okay? -2, -3. Pause that, please. Okay, sorry about that. So, we're going to look at this. It says -3, and then in parentheses or brackets, it's -9 and then -2, okay? That's how we're going to see that. Now, what you're going to do is, we've done all the parentheses because even though this is an inclusion, the inclusion is just one number. So, it's basically to show you that's a -9.
Okay, it just really means like -3 times
-9
and -2.
Okay. Yes, you're exactly right. So, we've done the P. There's no exponents. So now we're going to multiply or divide, whichever one comes first from left to right. Okay? So, do you see any multiplication or division?
-3 times -9,
yes.
which equals 27.
Right. So -9 and -3 equal -27. Hopefully you remember the mathematical rules when you're multiplying negative numbers. Okay? So you get -27. Now,
no.
I'm just going to bring this down.
Isn't it just regular 27 since it's 2 negatives?
Oh, yes, same sign equals positive. Sorry about that, I didn't pay attention. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so let's say that. I'm going to write this down. Same signs, the answer is always positive. I didn't even catch myself. Good job, Isaac. And then, if there are different signs, the answer will always be negative. Okay, so now let's look at this -3 times -9, and 9 times 3 is 27, and since they're both negative, same signs, the answer is going to be positive. So we've got 27 as our answer. Now, 27 minus 2.
25.
25. Okay? And that is our final answer. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do another one just to make sure you're understanding it completely. I want to write this one down on your paper.
Okay.
Okay, now they're going to add another inclusion. And it's okay. It's just another type of bracket. Pay attention to how I'm writing it. Okay, that one looks real fun, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with PEMDAS again. All right, parentheses first. Now, remember, this is our biggest inclusion. This is our next biggest inclusion, and then these are our smaller
You
ones.
can go and do the -3
We need to do the innermost inclusions first. So, -3 minus a 2 or plus a negative makes it
-5.
-5. Okay? I'm just bringing everything down. I'm going to go in and do this one. Since it's in the same set, we need to do these two first. -7 plus a +4.
-3.
-3. Okay, now go in and put, see how they're in parentheses still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm just going to bring everything else down. -5. 2's on the outside of that. 4's on the outside of that. -2. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that very well?
Yeah, I can see it.
Move this so it's not in the way. Okay, now, again, this is a bigger inclusion. This is the smaller inclusion.
You can do the -5 times -3.
So we need to do what's in this inclusion. So
-5 times -3.
we're going to do multiplying and dividing on this one. So there's no dividing, so we're going to multiply. -5 times -3 makes
15.
+15 minus 5. Now, we just answered this and brought down the -5. It is still in its inclusion.
Yeah.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm going to bring everything down. Do not try to do more than you should. Got it? All it is just bring everything down.
Got it.
Okay. Now, do you see anything that we can do within this inclusion?
15 minus 5.
15 minus 5. So that is 10. We're going to put that in. Leave it in its inclusion that it has. 2's on the outside. 4's on that outside. -2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're still working with inclusions.
And you can do 2 times 10.
2 times 10, 20. Okay. I'm going to leave this in its inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the 4 outside of it. -2. Okay. Now, there's no more parentheses or inclusions. P's mean inclusions too. No exponents. Can we multiply or divide going from left to right? We can multiply,
yeah,
right?
you can multiply that. Yeah.
Yep. Anytime a number is in parentheses, a number is in these kind of brackets, a number is in this kind of bracket, they all mean the same thing, just to let you know. Okay? So now, 4 times 20 is 80 minus 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is 78. Do you get it? Understand it?
Yep.
Okay? So even when we're doing these principles of parentheses, we're moving in the same direction as PEMDAS all throughout it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Last one on these harder inclusions, okay? Ready? This one's going to add a little bit different take on it. Okay, so write this down very clear. Gosh. There are 3 different inclusions in this one. Okay, bunch of inclusion symbols. Then, divided by. Now, when you get a problem like this, where you have some stuff on top and some stuff on bottom, you're going to answer everything on top, get it complete, everything on the bottom, get it complete, and then you divide at the very end when it's set up like this. Okay, so let's do PEMDAS on this. Okay, what are our inclusions that are included? Do you see?
-2 minus 3.
This is where we should start. So, very good. -2 plus a -3 makes
-5.
a -5. Now, because I have a pencil, this is going to work out, or a eraser, pen eraser, a dry erase. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to go on and change this. It makes it so much simpler for me. Okay, you can even do that in yours if you want to, and just erase once you know the answer. If you feel like you want to do that, it's okay if you don't. Okay, you feel like you got it? So all I've done is answered that. All right. Now, do you see any other problem that we can do?
You can do the -5 times -2.
Okay, so because this is in brackets and this is in brackets, it means multiply. When a number and a number are next to each other and it has brackets, then you're going to multiply. So -5 times -2 makes a
+10.
+10. So I'm going to erase all of this and put a 10 in there. I'm going to go and move that closer. Like that. All right. So now we have -3 times 10, right? And -3 times 10 is -30.
-30.
Very good. All right. So that's our top answer. Very good. Now let's do the bottom answer. Okay. Which of these do I start with?
4 minus 2.
Parentheses. 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay. And -3 times 2 is -6. Now, you see how this is a negative and a negative? Remember when I told you there were 2 negatives? What did it make? Positive. When they're the same, okay, it's going to make a positive answer. So we don't even need to know that now. So what is 30 divided by 6?
+5.
5. Very good. See how we did that? All right. That's the first part of lesson 13. Yay. Now let's do 13B, the B part, okay? This one is on order of operations, and this is kind of what we talked about first a while ago. So let's take an original problem, and these will actually seem simpler, okay, because there's not inclusions and all that.
Okay.
But I'm just showing you something real quick. Okay, now this is the division symbol. Kind of looks hard in the book. Okay. Quick review. What do the dots mean?
Times.
Times, division, minus, plus. Okay, I'm going to go and write PEMDAS up here just to help us out. We won't be using this in this kind of problem because there's no parentheses or exponents. But remember how I drew this arrow right here? Okay, you're going to multiply, or you may want to write an or right there.
Yeah.
Or right there. You're going to multiply or divide from left to right first, and then you're going to add or subtract from left to right. Okay? So let's multiply or divide. From this where do you see the first multiplying problem?
3 times 6.
This one is a multiplying problem. Very good. So let's go ahead and answer that and then just move forward. 6 times 3 is?
18.
18. So I'm going to bring everything else down. Makes it so much simpler. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, go from left to right again. Do you see any multiplying problem?
Yeah, 6 times 2. Just, yeah, or you can do the...
Let's wait on that one for a minute.
You can
okay?
divide.
Let's go and do this when we're going from left to right. We're just answering one of them.
Yeah, divide.
Okay, that is?
9.
9. Bring everything else down. Okay? Good. Still got any multiplying or dividing?
Yeah, you got 6 times 2.
Okay, so this is 6 times 2. All right, 6 times 2 is?
12.
Okay, bring everything else down. Very good. So we're done with the multiplying or dividing. All right. Now, let's go to adding or subtracting, but you're going from left to right. See that arrow?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is 6 plus 9?
15.
15. 15 minus 12?
3.
3. The answer is 3. Are we correct? Yes, we are. Got it? Okay, so that's a little bit more on operation. All right. Now let's go to the last part of lesson 13, C. This is products of signed numbers. Now, I just want you to write this down because instead of me teaching all this stuff that they want me to, it comes down to 2 points. 1 point is this. If you are multiplying an odd number of negative numbers. Now I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. If you are multiplying an odd number of negative numbers, the answer will always be negative. Now I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. Okay? What I mean by that is this. So if I'm multiplying an odd number of negative numbers, let's just take 2 and the number 2 and multiply it a bunch of times. So if I have a negative 2 times a positive 2 times a negative 2 times a negative 2 times a positive 2 times a negative 2. Now, let's just pretend that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I'm just going to pretend that's 64 just to help me get my answer. Okay, now, how many negative numbers do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, if I'm multiplying, let's go in and add one more.
It was 64.
To make my point. Oh, it was? Wow. Okay, so 64 times 2 is 128, something like that. So this is 128. Something like that. Okay? And so, how many negative numbers do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am multiplying an odd number. Odd is 5. 3, 5, 7, 9. So if I have 3 numbers that are odd, or that are negative, if I have 5 numbers that are negative, if I have 7 numbers that are negative, if I have 9 numbers, do you get what I'm saying?
It's going to be negative 128.
Okay, so if we're multiplying 5 odd number, the odd number 5, and there are 5 negative 2s, when we multiply them, the answer will always be
negative.
So I'm going to say
negative 128.
Okay?
If there was 6, then it'd be positive.
Right. Now, let's go and write down the next rule, which says this. When you're multiplying an even number of negative numbers, the answer will always be positive. Okay? So, for example, take the number 2 again. Negative 2 times 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times 2 times negative 2. Okay? Let's just pretend that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 64. I hadn't actually done the math on that, but I'm just putting a number out there. Now let's look at our negative. I have a negative 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have an even number of negative numbers. 4 is an even number, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Since 4 is an even number of negative numbers, the answer will always be positive. So the answer is just 64. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to go into all the different things they were saying to do and show you all that. If you know those 2 rules, you've got it.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now, let's do this problem that they have right here. They're putting everything in parentheses. That's good. That just means to multiply the parentheses numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's figure out what this answer is. All right? So I'm not even going to worry about my negatives right now.
Yeah.
Let's just work the problem, just the numbers. 4 times 3?
12.
12. 12 times 4?
Is 48.
48. 48 times 2?
96.
Good job. 96 times 11. Let's do that math right here. 6, 9, 6, 9.
1056.
100. Oh.
1056.
1056. There we go. So, 1056 is my answer, but
negative.
Now let's look at the negative numbers. I have 1, 2, 3 negative numbers, which is an odd. And when you have an odd, what's the answer going to be?
Negative.
Negative. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So always just do the numbers, then go back and count how many negatives you have.
Gotcha.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last problem on this. What if you see something like this? Okay, so if you see this problem, just pretend like that's not there. And you would do 4 times 3, and just like we did, and the answer was 1,000 what?
96.
96?
56.
Okay? 56. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, and then remove that, and we know that answer is negative. So that's how you would do something like that. And that is lesson 13.